Universidad Pedagógica Nacional Francisco Morazán, Centro Universitario Regional San Pedro Sula, Professional Practice Committee, Interculturalism, San Pedro Sula, October 23, 2020. Presenters: Gracie Michelle Felix, Miley Paula Garcia, Sania Yonaisi Martinez. Let's talk about interculturalism. A people without the knowledge of their past, history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Marcus Garvey. What does interculturalism refer to? Have you wondered about this concept? Well, intercultural refers to the plurality of culture that coexist and share. The DRAE defines the term as concerning to the relationship between cultures. UNESCO defines interculturality as the presence and equitable interaction of various cultures, and the possibility of generating shared cultural expressions acquired through dialogue and attitude of mutual respect. In other words, interculturalism is a permanent process of relationship, communication, and learning at the same time between different people, different groups, different knowledge, different values and traditions, aimed at generating, building, and fostering mutual respect and full development of the capacities of individuals. Why education is interested in this? The education system is one of the most important contexts for developing and promoting interculturality because it is the human base. Some purposes of intercultural education are to strengthen and legitimize cultural identities, develop communication, dialogue, and interrelationship capabilities, also to contribute to the pursuit of social equity. Most of my important lessons about life have come from recognizing how others from different cultures view things. Edgar H. Skin. Now, let's pay attention to the big impact of interculturality in education.
Interculturality and its impact on education. As we will now refer to the presence and equitable interaction of different cultures and the possibility of regenerating shared cultural expression through dialogue and mutual respect. This is why the impact it has had on education, specifically in Honduras, has been favorable more for the different ethnic groups within the country. The National Education Program for the Indigenous and Afro-Antillean Ethnic Groups of Honduras, PRONEA, arose from the agreement signed between the Secretary of Education and the Confederation of Indigenous People of Honduras, CONFAD. On December 14, 1993, the response of the indigenous and black peoples of Honduras began in 1990 with the organization of the Committee for Intercultural Bilingual Education for the Honduran Miskitia. Logistically supported by non-governmental organization Miskitia in 1993, with the effort of the Garifuna community, a pilot program was created of bilingual education but cannot be systematized with the Miskito experience. The historical development of our country has formed a multi-ethnic and multicultural society, and the Constitution of the Republic in Article 100 1973 establishes as one of the obligations of the state to preserve and simulate native cultures as well as the genuine expression of national folklore, folk art, and handicraft. Intercultural bilingual education was developed through close dialogue with indigenous and black people leaders, teachers, and parents, beginning with the larger Garifuna and Miskito non-Spanish speaking ethnic group. Within technical pedagogical guidelines, intercultural bilingual education IBE directed fundamentally to indigenous and Afro-Honduran people, without excluding the rest of the national population, has the purpose to preserving, simulating, and developing the native languages and culture of the country. Native culture are understood to be native. For this reason, the basic national curriculum, in addition to the bilingual intercultural education model, is guiding the technical educational process to improve the quality of indigenous education, the ultimate goal of which is to improve the living condition of the country's indigenous people. Based on this reason, the Ministry of Education, through the National Program of Education for the Indigenous Ethnic Groups of Honduran, PRONEA, is making effort to address the cultural and linguistic diversity of Honduras. Based on these educational guidelines for the efficient and effective development of intercultural bilingual education, efforts must be coordinated with all the dependencies of the central power plant of the Ministry of Education, with related national and international institutions, as well as with the departmental directorates, district supervisions, educational centers, and parents, with the aim of joining forces for the development of the two educational approaches proposed. The first, bilingual intercultural, which include the development of language in indigenous and Afro-Honduran region where the mother tongue is strengthened, as in the case of the Tabanca, Garifuna, Isleño, and Miskito peoples. The second approach, intercultural bilingual, which include the request, strengthening, and development in languages in regions where indigenous and Afro-Honduran language have fallen and discussed, such as Pesh, Tachua, Tolupan, Chorti, and Lenca, which they need an intensive process in education with the support of parents and public and private institutions that are related to this objective. This intercultural approach can be also applied in any other region of the country within the educational system at the national level to create coexistence between different people but equal in rights and conditions.
Some examples about interculturality.
Okay, to continue with example about interculturality, I will talk about three examples. The first is intercultural learning provides a student with evidence that people who don't look or act like them are still people just like them. Teach your students about multicultural roles where demonstrate that people of all genders, ethnicities, and appearances can have a positive influence of the world and grasp the right environment for culturality. It's about different culture of the world. We may have different religions, different languages, different color schemes, but we all belong to one human race to interact between different specifics in daily culture where avoid action ideas. Also, it is based in above respect of the people. Is the family culture and describe development, influence of culture and habit relationship in the family. Culture is the center of the long-standing social group, and we have children that can be influenced by their community character and the icon of their families from that community. Thank you for watching this. Take care.